Okay, so like we say, we do like to start these sessions at around 5 past. So what we'll do just before we do begin at 5 past is we'll just go through the housekeeping for today's session. So like I mentioned earlier, today is a quick learn. So it's a short session, shorter than normal. So in order to access the questions panel today, you'll need to use that icon. It looks like a speech bubble with the question mark in the middle there. If you use that, you can send your questions across to the team. Now, we do have both Michael and Abby on hand, so please do ask your questions throughout the session. Don't feel you've got to wait till the end, because we do like to try and get these ended bang on 5:30 to keep the content within that half-hour slot. There isn't a handout for today, so if you are looking for a handout, we don't normally do a handout on the Quick Learn session. However, there will be a recording of the session available for you to view once the session has ended today, and we've got that uploaded for you. So keep an eye out for that later today or tomorrow morning. Now, great to see some people have put their answers through there of how many customer reports do you think are in the software. Still time if you want to take part. Just a little bit of fun, a little quick guess of how many customer reports you think are in the software. So if you want to pop that into the questions panel, please do. Me and Michael have already had a go at this. And let's just say I was a lot closer than Michael, and just a little bit of fun there. Okay, so we're coming on to 5 past there, so we'll make a start. So we're just going to talk around customer reports today, and what we'll be doing today is looking at some specific reports. Now, just to give you an idea of the guesses we've had there of how many customer reports are in the software, we've had a guess of around 50, and we've had going all the way up to 1,200 reports. I will say Michael's guess today was 73. He wasn't too far off. I was far closer, although he doesn't believe me when I say I got it correct. But there's around 97 customer reports alone, just in the customers module. Now that will differ depending on what variant you're using, and obviously if you've done any customized reports as well. So there's around 97 customer reports. So as you can imagine, we won't be fitting all of those in today's session, because that's a lot of reports to go to. So what we've done is we have decided to look at the most reports, and we're looking at the age debtors. I'm just going to catch up the screens there. Going to be looking at the age debtors report, some customer invoices due reports, daybook reports, sales ledger turnover reports, and some agent commission reports. And finally, we'll just show you what you can do to get some information out of your customer module into Excel if you can't find a report that shows what you require. Okay, so for this, we're going to go purely onto the demonstration for today to run through those reports. Today, I'm actually going to do this in the demonstration data. So if you do want to have a look at these reports yourself, you have access to this data set to have a look. So you just need to go into File and Open. And within here, you've got the option for demo data, or you will have if you're in your live company. The login is manager, and leave the password blank, and you'll be able to get into the same data set. Okay, so the first report we're going to look at today is the report which shows us all of our outstanding debts from our customers. And the reason we show this one is because it is one that we do recommend that you run to show the position of your customers at a given point in time, who owes you what, and whose balances have aged the most, so that when you're starting to look at chasing debt, this is something that's going to give you a good idea of where to start. So these reports, all of the reports we're going to look at today, are within reports and are in the age debtors there for the first report of today. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of different reports available here, but they all just show the same information, but in various formats. Now, the two that I am going to focus on today are the summary and the detailed. So as you can see here, we've got the summary, and what I have done is I've clicked on the little star here, and I've added that to my favorites, and that just means it's easier to find, which we'll show you in just a moment. So I'm just going to do the summary and also the detailed, not the drillable, but you do have a drillable one, which is great for really drilling down into those figures. So my summary is basically my outstanding balance for every single customer as an overview. So one single balance. When we run this report, we can choose what date to run it up to. And what we also want to make sure is if we want a clear picture of what was owed at that point in time, we need to include a tick in the exclude later payments box. So if I'm running my aged debtors analysis as of the end of December, there might have been later payments in January, February, but to get a good picture of what was happening in December, I need to make sure that box is ticked. So I'm just going to run this. And as you can see, I've only got one customer because I've got one customer obviously highlighted in my list. But what this will do is show one balance for each customer in terms of what's outstanding, and then it will age them. So it will show which are in period 1, 2, 3, and older. Just going to do that again with nothing highlighted, just so you can get a really good picture of that report. And up to today's date, you can see there. So anyone with a value in the older column, they would probably be my priority to start chasing as those older values. And as you can see, I've got some work on to go and start chasing these. So this is good because it looks at your aging periods, but what this doesn't do is look at different payment terms. So if you've got different payment terms for different customers, this report does not take that into consideration. It takes your aging periods, which are set up on your settings, customer defaults, and on the aging tab. So that's where it picks up its aging periods from. Now, just to show you, that was the summary report. We also wanted to do the aged debtors analysis detail, just to show you the difference between the two. So same criteria, again, ensuring we tick the box. This doesn't just give us one balance, this gives us an invoice by invoice breakdown. So as you can see, ABS Garages, in this case, is actually 2 invoices that are outstanding, and both of them are in the older category. So I'll be able to see on an individual invoice basis. We can also see it's things like payments on account. So it allows me to see where maybe I have had a payment made, but it hasn't been allocated off against an invoice, for example. So that's the first one, and that's your aged debtors analysis. Now, what we quite often get is this isn't relating to my customer payment terms. I want to know what are outstanding based on the terms I've got with that customer. Now, what I've done before the session today is I've actually added a column to my customer list. So what I've done here is I've right-clicked and I've ticked payment due. And that's shown my payment due terms in my list here. So as you can see, I've got some which have 0 payment days, and some are on 30-day terms. I've got one on 45, and I've got some on 60. So I might have different terms for different customers depending on my history with that particular customer. So what we can do instead, if we're wanting to look at the customer invoices that are due, taking into account this payment due terms that we've set up, is we can run a different report, which is the customer invoices overdue. Now, to find this, in reports, into customer invoices, and we have the customer invoices overdue there. Now again, here we can highlight customers in the list, or we can just select all customers and also pop in our date range. And again, if we were running it to a date in the past, we might want to exclude later payments, which I'll do now. Bear with me. Just again, make sure I've not got anything highlighted. So here demonstrating how important it is to make sure you don't have anything highlighted, or that will again impact the results of your report. So I'm just going to run that again across all my customers, and then OK. And here you can see we've got the amount that they owe, but also what's outstanding compared to their payment due terms. Now again, a few of mine are very much outstanding, need to be chased immediately. But what we've got here is also where part of these have been paid. And we can see for each and every individual customer the amount due. So that's the customer invoices overdue report, which is more important if you're using those payment terms. So again, a good opportunity, if you've got any questions, get them across to us as soon as possible, just so the team can get them answered within the time there for you today. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is the Daybooks reports. Now, this is a really good report if you just want a long list of your invoices. It might be credits, it could be a different type of transaction that you're wanting to run. But when it comes to customers, it's normally customer invoices, or it might be customer credit notes. So what we're going to do for this one is, again, we're just making sure we've got nothing highlighted in the list, popping into reports, and then we have Daybooks here. And as you can see, again, there's quite a variation on the reports that are within here. So what I'm going to do is just the customer invoices. That's the one I've got selected at the moment. And again, we can do it itemized, or we can do it as an overview. So we'll do the summary first. And again, make sure we've got the customer reference wide open to show everyone. But if you want to specify a particular range, you can do. And I'm just going to leave the date range open for the time being, but you might be doing this for a particular month or a quarter or a particular period. And as you can see, this is a list of all my invoices that have been posted into the account. So this might take a while if you're doing it as open as I am, but if you're just doing a specific range, for example, a month, that will not take as long as it will do if you're doing it across the whole data set. And this is literally a list of your customer invoices. I've got the same for things like credit notes, so Daybooks customer credits. Again, the criteria is the same, and this will be a list of all the credit notes that you've posted in that given period that you've specified. We go into the detailed. As you can see, a little bit more information on there. So what you can do here is you can limit this to particular departments and also to particular nominal codes. So it might be you want a list of all invoices posted to nominal code 4000, for example. So if you use the detailed, you've got the opportunity to do that. And again, it looks exactly the same. It's just it gives us that extra criteria values to add onto the report. Okay, so it's great to see the questions are coming through there. So again, do keep them coming through. We've got two more reports we're going to show you, and then a quick overview of exporting to Excel. The next one I want to show you is a really popular one when we're on technical support, and that's around looking at your sales ledger turnover. So what is the customer turnover? And this is one that often gets requested. And if we pop into reports, I'm going to show you that one next. So if we go into credit control and turnover, we have one called the sales ledger turnover period and year to date. So I'm just going to run this one again. And again, I'm just running this for an open date range, but you will possibly want to do that for your current financial year, or it might be the current month that you're in. But I'm going to do this across all of my customers. And what that will do is it will give me a turnover for the period I've specified and also the year to date. And what you'll notice there is the year to date and the turnover in my case here are pretty much identical in most cases, but there are a few variations there, and that's just because we're in the demonstration data there. But what I do want to do is I just want to show you how to be very careful with this report. So what we have here is the turnover for the period, which is based upon the transactions and the period you've specified. The turnover year to date, however, takes this figure from a box in the customer record. This box can be overwritten. So what I just want to show you is A1 Designs here. They have a turnover of 5220 and 54 pence. And what I'm just going to do is show you where it picks this figure up from and make a slight amendment. So if we just find them in the list. Pop into the record. So in sales within the record, So it's down the left-hand side. As we go towards the top right corner, you can see here the month-to-date and year-to-date values. Now they should pick up as you're processing through the software. However, as you'll see, it's very easy to amend this. What I'm just going to do is put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and save. And what that means is I've overwritten the figure that's in there. So now if I run that report and I'm looking at that year-to-date figure, that could be incorrect based on somebody entering that figure in. So again, if I just clear and run the report again, as you can see there, it's no longer 5220.54. It's changed that to 12345. So just be careful with that particular report. If you're looking at that year-to-date figure, bear in mind that box can be amended where it's picking that figure up from. Whereas this one here is calculating that from the transactions entered in the period you've specified. Okay, the last report I'm going to show you now, unfortunately, this feature isn't available if you're on Essentials. This is only available in the Professional. But I do just want to show you this one because it might be something if you are on Essentials that you're looking to upgrade for. And this is the agent commission reports. So again, one that would get requested a lot is how can I report on agents and how they've sold, how many sales they've made. We have a report specifically for that. So first of all, this report, this agent's commission report, relies on the analysis codes within the software. So what I'm going to do is just pop into a record first of all, so I can show you what I mean by analysis codes. So within a customer record, if we pop into defaults, within here we have custom fields, but we also refer to them as analysis codes. Now this agent's commission report assumes that you've used one of these custom fields as an agent. Now in the demo data it hasn't, it's actually assigned customer type. Okay, what you can do is you can rename this or you can amend the report. Now we did do a session on custom fields, so if you're interested in a little bit more information on this, check out our session on custom fields. We show you how to amend the report to pick out perhaps custom field 2 instead. Okay, so it can easily be changed. So as you can see from mine, my custom field for my sales rep is most likely to be custom field number 2. So in here, it's assuming that custom field number 1 is my agent for the agent's commission report. So we're going to go with it for today just so you can see how this report's going to run. If you do want to amend the names on these custom fields, you can do this within settings, configuration, and into custom fields here. So you could change this to agent and then go through each of your records, popping your agent's name in if you wish to do so. But just because this is what the demonstration data does, we'll show you how this is going to work today. So I'm just going to pop back into customers and we're going to go into reports and we're going to run that agent commission report. And as you can see, what it's doing here is it's grouping them together by analysis 1. So at the moment, analysis 1 isn't a rep, it's referring to those cash customers. If I go further down, I've got one for public, and we've got also trade as well, further down as well. So rather than being trade and public, this could be your sales reps who are out in the field, maybe doing your sales, or an individual in the business that you want to report this again. So that could, in fact, and rather than trade, say Jackie, Michael, and Abby, and we'd get a list of all the invoices processed against that individual. Now that's just a simple agent's commission report. But if we pop into where we find them, on the left-hand side, agent's commission, what you'll notice is there is also an agent's commission report that can work out 10%. And again, that 10% can be changed to another percentage through a quick tweak on the report. And that will just allow you to work out a commission based on a percentage as well. So just to generate that one for you, you can see for cash at the bottom, it shows you the totals and also the commission too. So 5 key reports, 5 popular reports that we get asked on quite often, and a little bit of explanation around where it's dragging those figures from for you. One final thing I do want to show you just before we run out of time there is the export to Excel feature. Within your software, in most of the windows, you can configure your screens to show what you want on each screen. So by right-clicking on this sort of dark grey bar here, you can add any of these features here. So I could add things like email number 3, could add in the payment due terms, the settlement discount terms. And once I've got the information in here that I wish to show, I can then export that to Excel very easily. So I've got the option at the top to send to Excel. And what that will do is it will send it across to Excel for me. And from there, I can do things like manipulation, adding sorts and filters. So a really good option if you've got data in your software, and it could be in any module. So it might even be that you want to do something in your transactions list. You can pop on a filter, show the data that you need only, and then export that to Excel. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, we tried to fit everything in to the 20 minutes there. So we've got 5 minutes just before we're going to end the session. It's great to see some questions coming through there. So please do keep them coming. In the meantime, I'm just going to quickly nip back to the slides, and we're just going to very quickly talk about our upcoming webinars there. Okay, so keep the questions coming for Abby and Michael there. Keep them busy for the next 5 minutes. And what I just want to talk about there, like I say, is the upcoming webinars. So we do have a session tomorrow on departments. So some of the reports I showed you there asked for a department. So Michael will be going into more detail tomorrow on that departments feature, showing you how to get the most out of that module and how you can run reports per department. So that one's tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, and that's a normal session. That's not a quick learn session. So go into a little bit more detail there for you. Secondly, next week we are starting some sessions on improved bank feeds. So bank feeds is a feature that allows you to download transactions from your bank into your accounting software. And we are introducing improvements to that feature in version 29.2. Because of that, we're trying to get ahead of the game before upgrading, show you those new features and show you the advancements. So we're going to be starting those sessions on Tuesday next week, and they'll be running throughout August. So if bank feeds is something you're using, definitely worth joining us to see how it's going to look different. But if not, if you haven't set them up before and you're interested in more information, again, Tuesday would be a great session for you to join us on. Links for both will be in the follow-up email today, and you'll be able to see all of the other upcoming content we've got as well, because we've got some great sessions coming up. We've also got bank reconciliation on Friday and credit charges on Thursday. So we're still going with lots and lots of webinars for you. So please do get yourself signed up for as many as possible. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the content for the quick learn. So we've just got a few minutes just before the session finishes up. So again, just a final call for any questions that you might have. And we'll just have a look and see if there's any outstanding questions there. Okay. So just a quick question there about those aging periods again. So I'm just going to show you again where you can actually set those aging periods up. So if we go into settings, customer defaults, and into aging/due date. So you can set up aging depending on calendar monthly, which we've got set up here, or on period aging. So the set is 30 to 60, then 60 to 90. But as you can see, you can amend these. But the question there was, can we set different ones up for different customers? Now, unfortunately, your aging periods are across all. It's one size fits all. So your aging periods will be for all customers. However, your credit terms can be set up individually per customer. So your period aging can be set up in here. As you can see, you could amend this. You might change this and make it a bit earlier. And once you've set that one, and this one, for example, you can see that the days start to change there. To set up the payment due terms per customer, you can go into a customer record, into credit control, and it's this box here, payment due, and then you can also specify when it's due from. So it might be the day after the invoice, it might be the next month, so you've got options there. So that's the difference between due and the aging periods as well. Okay, I think that's us on top of the questions there. And I think we're drawing very close to the 1/2 mark. So we'll look to wrap up the session there. So thank you so much for joining us today on this quick learn. Please do bear in mind they are quick learn, so it's quick learning to fit into a 1/2-hour session to give you time to fit the webinar into your busy schedules. Fingers crossed we will see you again tomorrow at 2 o'clock for departments. If not, we'll see you on another session really soon. We look forward to that. In the meantime, take care. And like I say, we'll see you all again soon.